Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hi, it's Jeff. Well, if you've watched the last video I put on my Ordinary Talk thread here, you know this Jeffrey Epstein stuff isn't going away, okay? He's deliberately got Mike Johnson preventing that young lady in Arizona who won an election, preventing her from getting sworn in, so because she said she'd signed that petition to have the Epstein file released, should be vote number 218. She's not being sworn in, and now Johnson wants to have an official tally of the votes down there, even though she won by a fucking huge landslide. No, it's just a delay tactic, is what this is, and that's what Trump is all about, isn't he? Buying time. Buying time. That's what he's done his whole fucking life. This man. Buy time. Delay, delay, delay. You know, the truth of this eventually is going to come out whether Trump is alive or dead. Okay? The truth about this Epstein association is going to come out. But he'd rather it come out after the fact so he can't be, put on trial or whatever for whatever the hell he's done. Okay? Which has to be, legion, considering what he's been doing. Even this government shutdown issue is a distraction from this Jeffrey Epstein matter. Okay? He doesn't want anything getting out about that. And even though there could be Democrats implicated in this thing, the Republicans are being very quiet about, letting this get out. I mean, hey, you would think that they would sink their own in order to get a Democrat. No, this is too much. This is too big even for that. So it really begs the question to be asked, what the hell is in those files that's got Trump so fucking scared? I mean, if he thought he could get away with it, the files would be released, wouldn't they? Because he could fight it out. But he knows he can't win this thing. He knows that that's out. That's it. It's curtains for him. Okay? That's it. And the fact that he's got the government, his administration, running interference for him shows just how big the scope of this is. I mean, it's got a lot of names in there. Okay? That should scare everybody right now who is, still a Trump supporter. Okay? That should scare all these people. Because the truth of that comes out, all these people are going to have egg on their face. They're going to be regretting till the day they die that they ever fell for the son of a bitch. Okay? That's what this is really about. And, I can only speculate at this point. And the only reason why I have to speculate is because of the fact that Trump doesn't want anyone to see what's in those files. But I can only speculate that whatever is in those files must be so big that it's got to go beyond him having sex with underage girls. Okay? There must be some bigger crimes involved in this. And there has to be. To have a sex trafficking ring that spans the globe. I mean, you got people from other countries involved in this. This spans the globe. I mean, it could be the actual root of the reason why we've had this problem for so long in America for sex trafficking, is that it began with the rich. And that means Trump. That they are the ones who created this fucking global issue from the beginning. And everybody else has been just the branches and the leaves of the problem. But the root of the problem has always been there at Trump's feet. So, like I said, the scope of this crime has to be incredibly big. which means I wouldn't be surprised if there's other countries, you know, working with the administration to try to keep these files hidden. And now you want to talk about the incompetence of the FBI. Well, if they're so incompetent, why are they scared to death about what the FBI has? Pam Bondi is not allowing this shit to get out, okay? But I can tell you right now, even if the Democrats get all the votes they need, even if the Republicans get all the votes they need to have those files released, there will be more resistance. There will be more ways to block it from getting out. I'm telling you, it's not going to stop. So long as Trump is the president, it's not going to stop. Okay? There's a lot of money behind the effort here to keep this shit silent. And that right there is a big fucking issue. That, like I said, it spans the globe. Because it involves, you know, like we had Prince William there, whatever the hell's his name. Okay? This goes into other countries. Alright? And it's wealthy people. People with lots of money and lots of clout and leverage to be able to jam up this fucking fact-finding mission here by Americans to get to the truth. And unfortunately, as I discuss this, you know, I think about the victims and how their privacy, they've been getting threats. Their innocence at a young age was taken away. There's still no justice. They're being ignored. Some of them, you know, these people, they have to live in secret because they understand probably better than most just how powerful this thing is and how big of a reach it has. Okay? I remember reading years ago about some girl that had gotten taken off the streets of New York and found herself in Ukraine. She was sex trafficked and sent all the way to Ukraine, and they were selling her as a prostitute over there. Okay, and she was like, I don't know, 16, 17 years old or something, I guess. And so you have to think, now how could they have done that? Well, you've got to have people over in one place hired to go get somebody. Then they got the money to put that person on an airplane or something, or a private plane. Well, she's drugged and out, doesn't realize, you know, where it's going, what's happening, because they got her drugged out. Flies all the way to Ukraine, lands in Odessa, Ukraine, and she's over there selling herself, doesn't know anybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, you got to think about that. It takes more than just one individual in one country to do something like that. Okay? So like I said, this whole thing probably will open up the whole can of worms as to who's involved in this sex trafficking business, who the heads of it are. And I can tell you right now, Epstein ain't alone in being the ones that started this thing. This goes all the way back to the fucking 1980s, I think, even, you know, that's when it started. And these rich people have kept this going on for decades. Okay, so these people are entrenched, they are fortified, and taking down one of the pillars of this enterprise, okay, ain't going to be easy. Because, how do we know Mike Johnson? They ain't got something on him. How do we know he's not involved? How do we know Pam Bondi isn't involved? She worked for Jeffrey Epstein, okay, at one time. So, like I said, I mean, you know, Trump surrounded himself with people who were probably in some way or another associated with that. Okay? Think about this for a minute. Why do you think he hired all the lowlifes, the people with criminal backgrounds, into his administrations? Because they're all probably tied in on this thing. And that's why it's easy for them to stand up and prevent things from moving forward so we can get the facts. They've been lying to us from the fucking beginning. So there's no reason at all to believe a fucking word they say. You know, first they have the files and then they don't. And then it's like, oh, you know, they're just putting off the press. The press can't get any answer out of them, okay? All we get are more questions. You know, all we get are more, is a bigger scope. The more we pull back, the bigger the scope of the crime is. And I'm afraid that there could be some deaths involved in this thing. And some of them could be traced right to Trump himself. Some underage girls probably drugged or something, or, you know, overdosed during one of his sex capades that he had with Epstein, ends up dead. And they throw the body somewhere where it can't be found. I mean, who the hell knows? We don't have the files themselves, so our minds we're going to speculate. We're going to speculate, and that should drive MAGA all mad that they can't get the fucking truth, so people will shut up about this, because they're being denied, you know, some kind of avenue to defend their beloved Hitler there. They can't unless they want to join the fucking, you know, the regime and become criminals themselves. They can't get out of this thing. They're stuck. They're betrayed by the fact that Trump's not letting anybody see this shit. You know, I can't imagine what it's like to be a Trump supporter these days, or even associated with MAGA. That's got to be a mental gymnastics that would rival anything else that you've ever seen in your life of somebody trying to hide a lie. Okay, I can't imagine what that must be like. Okay, because there's no way in hell, if it was a Democrat as president and all this shit was going on, I'd have stopped supporting that son of a bitch like that. Day fucking one. I don't even care who it was that would be. If it was John F. Kennedy, same fucking thing. Nobody deserves to have support who's mixed up with somebody of the likes of Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody. The fact that Trump is sitting in the White House, a criminal, convicted criminal, okay? A rapist. The fact that he's in the White House is illegal. The fact that this man who is in the White House illegally is out there issuing executive orders is illegal. The fact that he's got ICE out there doing raids against, you know, people in this country is illegal, because those orders come from someone who is a criminal. Everything he does is illegal. Everything he's done since he took his oath of office, which he didn't even put his hand on the Bibles for, keep that in mind. Everything that he's done since January has been illegal. I don't care if the Senate back. These people are also criminals because they supported what he was trying to get passed, okay? Every executive order that they've allowed to go through, that makes them complicit. That makes them criminals. Okay? So that's why this is poison. This is shit that's come from a poison tree. Everything that Trump has done since January is poison by criminality, because he shouldn't be in there in the first place. So that means people who don't want to follow any orders that Trump gives is in the right, because they are doing what they're supposed to do. You cannot take orders from a criminal. Okay? He committed heinous crimes in his private life that he escaped from. Okay? He got caught in some of it, but, you know, the insurrection and the Epstein crap and the rape, of that young lady there. Okay? All these things make him a criminal, and he shouldn't even be president. Period. It doesn't matter how he got in there. It doesn't matter how he twisted the system so he could get in there, okay? It's still illegal. Everybody that helped him get in there are criminals. They have to pay the price. All right? So that's why I'm saying that, you know, people in the military who are being forced out in, was it Oregon? Portland, Oregon? They don't have to follow his fucking orders or the fucking officers that issue those orders, because these orders come from a criminal. Period. they didn't pledge their loyalty to a criminal. They pledged their loyalty to the Constitution. Okay? The criminal is against the Constitution. Therefore, the orders coming from Trump cannot be obeyed. Those orders would be illegal, and those people who follow them would be prosecuted for following illegal orders. And that's the truth. I've been in the military. I know that's how it works. Someone follows an order from someone they know is giving illegal orders, they have to disobey. That's the law. Okay? I know people will argue with me up and down about that and cite examples, okay? But it's there. It's right there in the fucking laws, you know, in the military. So, like I said, this is where we are as a country. We have an illegal administration that's a tyrant, a tyranny, okay, running things outside the bounds of the law and bounds of the Constitution. And he's trying to get away with yet another bigger crime than any crime that we've caught him doing so far, okay? That should scare us, because this is where we are. Okay? So anyone that resists, anyone who tries, you know, to resist what he's doing is in the right. They are the ones we need to back. Those are the people we need to support, because they're the ones that have it clear in their head. They're the ones that have it clear in their fucking head that this is not the way America is supposed to be run. We're doing things wrong. Everything we've done since January has been wrong. All the people that have been affected so far by Trump's actions, okay, that was a crime against them. They have rights to sue. They have rights to pursue justice, because a criminal, upended their lives. So I'm hoping that at some point enough of this will happen, enough of this will go on long enough where people are going to say enough is enough. Okay, this is ridiculous. We don't have to live like this. We don't. We do this only because, we just don't want to rock the boat. We just don't want to put our lives on the line. We just don't want to fucking, become targets for reprisals. But, people, no government in the world is safe, no matter what form it is. At some point, the people will come to a point where they have to make a choice for themselves or for their government. Which is more important to you? Your government, such as it is, or yourself, your livelihood, your children, your future? Okay? I'm hearing it every day. The American dream is dead. Okay? The American dream is dead. People are still working like there is a hope for an American dream. There isn't. Okay? It's gone. Those of us, my age and older, we're probably going to have a very hard time surviving into our real elder years, because the systems that we've always counted on aren't going to be there. Some of us may have to leave the country, and some people have. I mean, those that have the money to do it have done it, but there's going to be a lot more homeless people out there. A lot of people living in their cars in the days to come. All this because we followed illegal orders from a president who upended the economy. Okay? The tariffs and all that shit. None of that stuff had to be. People could have resisted that from day one. They didn't have to put tariffs on nothing. All they had to do was say, we don't recognize Trump as the president because he's a criminal. He should not be president. I don't care if you won the election. Okay? He's illegitimate. He does not qualify. And we already proved that before the election, that he doesn't qualify to run. But he ran anyway. And everybody's acting like, everything was hunky-dory and it was all legal and everything is... And that's not true. None of that's true. So I'm hoping a lot of you people out there will think of that as the days go on. That if you're feeling pissed off at Trump and you want to do something against him, it's your duty. It's your right, because he is a criminal. And what do we do with criminals in this country? I'll talk to you guys later.